tell you this about going back to like growing up in like the 70s and 80s. My mom used to give me sips of beer when I was 9.
Yeah.
So she would have a beer and she'd be like, "Here, Nicholas," and I would like take a pull off it. And I was in school and we were talking about our favorite things, and they were like, "Nick, you know, what's your favorite thing?" And I go, "My favorite beer is Coors Light." And the teacher's like, "What?" Calls up mom, "What is happening? Why does your son who's 9 years old have a favorite beer?"
I used to do that. I had 5 uncles that we lived with. 13 of us lived in a 2-bedroom. And 5 uncles, 2 aunts, my great-grandmother, my grandfather, my mother, my sister. And they used to have these massive parties. And I used to go, my mother used to dress me in suspenders and a bow tie. They called me, my nickname was Spiff. And my job, like Spiffer, you know.
Did she think you were a puppet?
Well, they used to make me open their beers, and with every beer I'd open, I would take a sip. So by halfway through the party, it's just this trashed 7-year-old in the corner, just with her Schlitz.
But dressed kind of fancy.
But it was hilarious back then. Back then, it was fucking. Look at the he's trashed.
I miss those days.
I found a picture of myself when I was 8 years old at my aunt and uncle's wedding, and people would send me to bring them back rum and cokes. But whenever I'd walk, they'd sort of spill, so I'd just like take little sips. And then in the wedding picture, it's me with my aunt and uncle. I'm like this tall, and like one eye's closed.
Yeah, I remember my mother's second wedding. Her friend Donna, she's like, from Boston, "Bobby, go get my cigarettes out of the car." She threw me her keys. I just took her car. I took it. I never drove. I just jumped in it, fucking started driving. And I remember feeling the power of I was like, and I was like, what the fuck? Because I had a big wheel, but I never had that power. And I remember I was flying up the street, and at the last second, I locked it up. It was a cliff.
Oh, shit.
The end of the street was a dead end. It was just a fucking cliff.
So
I would have just been street
fucking
pizza.
9-year-old Thelma and Louise.
But I remember I came back, I drove back, and I was almost proud of myself how good I drove. Like, I couldn't believe I drove good. And the whole wedding was in front of the house. And my mother in this white dress for her second wedding, white dress, whatever. And they were just like looking at me like, and my mother, "What the fuck, you motherfucker?" And I'm like, What? I fucking.
Were you like, she gave me the keys. It's her fault.
The lady, Donna, did go, "Where's my cigarettes?" She wanted her fucking cigarettes, yeah.
Yeah, so your family is probably freaking out how well you're doing. Because if they knew you when you were 9 years old, stealing cars, fucking chugging Jaeger
You don't know
bombs.
Irish Catholic families from Boston that they're still waiting for the other fucking shoe to drop.
Okay.
Oh, my mother still tells me, "Come home and just be a hairdresser." It's like, I was on fucking TV with Dennis Leary on FX on a show, making more money than I've ever made. She's like, "What? Just come home and be a hairdresser." I have the salon right in the house.
Why a hairdresser? Did she think you're
She
gay,
wants
dude?
me. No, she
no
wants
hair.
No, she's
You'll have hair.
The expert.
she's a hairdresser.
Okay.
So she just wants. She always thought that we would be hairdressers together.
Like a
I don't know. Like a tag team. I should have pitched that to a fight. So that's a good one. Yeah, it was fucking. She just wants to be hairdresser. Just to be in the shop. She does old people, very old people. She doesn't do young people because old people don't they don't get their hair cut. They get their hair done.
Right.
Old women.
Yeah.
You understand? So they'll get it done for like months or a week or whatever. And, you have to wash their hair with palm olive. Seriously, because it's so oily because they don't wash their heads.
So they're like a duck after an oil spill?
Yeah, dude, I swear to God. I was in there one day and this lady's getting her hair washed. She goes, "Kathy, I want you to scrub my head like you hate my fucking guts."